Sandro De Matteo, and I'm going to make an Italian crostata today. Okay, this is very simple home Italian baking. My mother used to make this all the time, but she did not use a French tart pan. My mother used a very simple aluminum pan with high boards, and she would just pick it up after, take it out very quickly without fuss. Because Italian home baking is very simple. As you probably know, people who have been to Italy, you know that there are a lot of great pastry shops in Italy, so people don't really bake at home that much. But, you know, they make something on Sunday, you know, something like that. And my mother will make this once in a while, because even if this is very simple, it was still a little complicated for her. Because she was a working woman, she was a teacher, very little time, school on Saturday also in Italy to this day. Okay, so we're going to start by putting some flour in a cup, about 2 cups of flour. I have translated this recipe from my mother's original one that was all in grams. So 1 and 2. Again, everything is sort of relative. What looks right is right. You have to develop a little, you know, get to know everything a little bit, but you know, once I've been baking for a long time, you do it very easily. Here is 2 tablespoons of sugar, and by the way, the recipe is on my website, MaraWriter.com. There are lots of recipes there, and baking and cooking videos, and it's written in both English and Italian, so you can make your choice. Okay, now what else we have here? Some egg yolks and butter. So we're going to start by doing the dry ingredients first. Lemon. I love this tool. I know people make fun of me because I always talk about it. It's a microplane. It's the greatest tool. It makes peeling a lemon, again, the zest very, very easy. And you just do this. Is it precise? No, 1 lemon, half a lemon, whatever you want. Yes, it's flying all over the place. All right. I don't know if you can smell it from there, but it's got this really nice sweet lemony taste, smell. Okay, so we have it here. Okay, I think this is enough. More or less, it doesn't matter. Quick work. That's why I love this tool. I recommend it to anyone. Now we're going to put gonna mix it up a little bit. Like this. You want to add a pinch of salt, you can add a pinch of salt. My mother sometimes did, sometimes she didn't. Doesn't really matter. Now I have butter here. This is unsalted butter. Only use unsalted butter. And in Italy, there is no such thing as salted butter. They only use unsalted butter. And so a lot of people are using margarine now. That's a whole other thing. So we're putting this in. Now, you could use pastry cutter, fork, 2 knives. I use my very clean hands. You just mix it all up with your fingertips. This is the right consistency. It's cold, but not very cold that you can break it. It's sort of like cold room temperature. You just feel it. You know, it's right. I don't know if you can see here, but it's coming out. It's very easy to do. You could use a food processor, sure. You want to clean the food processor, the blade and all that thing? Do it. I don't care. I just wash my hands and clean a bowl. That's it. It's very simple. And you know, you get your hands in the dough, and it's a nice feeling. And also it brings back all those memories of my mother making this, and we were waiting over there, and my mother was not very often to move. She would be happy when she would make a tart or something like this, because she knew that we were eagerly waiting for it to be ready. She was a very busy woman, always running around. But this is something you can do very quickly. And by the way, this kind of tart crostata, it comes from northern Italy mostly. It's where my mother was from, when she was from Modena. And is generally made with cherry jam. Not regular cherry, but amarene. I don't know if you know. I grew up in Italy, by the way, for people who don't know me. I grew up in Naples, and I've been in America for a very long time, because I married an American and I moved here. But I was born, raised, and educated in Italy. Amarene is like a kind of sour cherry that is not very easy to find. And also the jam. I've actually not been able to find the jam in America. I'm sure it's someplace, but you know, so, but I like just regular cherry. Another very common jam to use is apricot, and that's what I'm going to use. Okay, now we're going to add the eggs. These are just 2 egg yolks. You could use 1 whole egg instead of 2 egg yolks. It'll work. What's the difference? Is that the egg yolks, because of the fat, make the dough more tender. And this is like a cookie dough, and it's, you know, if it's tender, it's more friabile, and then and it's really nice. So I'm going to mix this up a little bit. There you go. You can see how it's coming along. And now I'm going to add a little bit of wine. You don't have to add wine. You can use milk, water. Wine gives it a nice little flavor. So I have about here no more than maybe 5 or 6 tablespoons. We're going to start a little bit at a time because you don't want to add a lot of liquid because otherwise it might be too wet and it's going to make a mess. So you just get a feel for it, mix it up a little bit. You have to be able to hold it together so that you can roll it up. But you don't want it to be too loose, otherwise try it, it's not going to happen. Now it needs a little more, so we're going to add more wine. Now don't go so much by the measurements in cooking and also some baking, especially Italian. Nothing is that precise. Okay, you just feel the dough, feel the, you know, whatever's coming out, and you see if it looks right, it is right. Okay, just a little bit more. Am I holding it together? See, it's coming together a little bit? Okay, I think I'm just going to add a little bit more, and then keep it on the side. Okay. Now, you can add other liquids, as I was saying, but don't use anything with a lot of flavor. Like, for instance, don't use like cranberry juice, or because it's going to change completely the taste of the dough. The dough should taste slightly like lemon and eggs and butter, and it's really delicious. Yeah, it's coming together. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make 2 patties out of this, because I have to make the bottom part of the tart and then the strips that I put on top. So here we are. The dough is done. No food processor, no mixer, nothing, and it came out perfect. Now, the refrigerator is really your best friend when it comes to pastry, because the dough needs to relax. The gluten in the dough needs to relax, otherwise you will not be able to roll it out well. So what you do, you take the dough and you refrigerate it for a little while. Let me see, I'm going to put it right here. Now, I have everything ready here. This is my dough that I made before, and it's been refrigerated. So I'm going to open one at a time. One that is larger than the other one, a little bit larger. So I'm going to put this dough back in here, and then we'll have dough for another tart. Okay, now we're going to take this out of the way. Now, before I roll out the dough, I'm going to do something I forgot to do, that is grease the pan. Grease the pan, just a little bit of butter, that's all. And again, you can use your hands, it works perfectly. Just move it around like this, and then use a brush, you don't have to do anything. Just a little bit like that. Go in every corner. Now with a tart pan, because it's got the scallop design, you want to make sure you get everywhere so that the pan does not stick and it will break your beautiful tart. So let's do this, especially in the corners. The corners are particularly important because the dough gets stuck in there, and that's the end of that. Oh, it will still taste good, okay? It just will be broken. Okay, so this is ready. Here. Baking in the library. I've never done it before. This is no water. I have a wet towel here, so I got organized, but it's an experience. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is roll out the dough. Always have plenty of flour around. Okay. Make sure there's lots of flour so it doesn't stick. And I have, again, some of my tools of the trade here. I have a bench Dutch knife, which works great, so that you can lift it up. And I have one of my collection of rolling pins. This one is called the Silk Pen. This is made by the same the company that makes a silk pad. What do they call silk pad? So the things don't stick to cookie sheets. And it's silicone, so things don't stick to it. However, I have marble rolling pins, glass, traditional wooden ones, everything works. Always add flowers so it doesn't fit. Now, we want it to fit in here, so we're going to start rolling in that direction, so that it will be easy to put on the tart pad. If you feel like it's sticky anytime, just put this. You know, a lot of cookbooks tell you that you should not use a lot of flour because the dough will get hard and tough. But you know what? That's never happened to me. And it's better that you use the flour and don't make a stick over there than trying to have it too soft so it will it doesn't get, you know, it doesn't get hard, but it works fine. I can do a little bit more. Okay, it looks like it's perfect, but it's gonna go up the sides. So I'm gonna move it a little bit more. Do you see how beautiful the dough comes out? It doesn't tear, it comes out, it's like cloth. More, wider, you can always adjust. Another way of making dough that my mother used to do when she made an apple tart, and it's also delicious. She would take the dough and put it right in the pan and then spread it out with her hands. And the dough would be more like cake-like, and it was good, but it was, you know, just an easier way of doing it. I have been doing dough for so long, and I actually like to roll out dough, so I will do it. Okay, here's the dough. Fold it in half so it doesn't break. Put it right here. Okay. There's a tear. It's okay. It's okay. We'll fix it. These are little things that mean absolutely nothing. You make it go up. You take a little bit from here. You put it in a hole, you patch it up, not a problem. The dough is very easy to handle, it's very forgiving. This is an easier dough than the traditional American dough because of the large quantity of butter and also the eggs. It makes it more elastic, so it's easier to roll out. Okay, so it's coming up nicely. The corners again, they will be greased very nicely so it will not stick. Here you go. Okay, it's ready. Okay, now I'm going to roll out the strips.